Hey class, my name is Sammy Lyles and I will be sharing a little bit about myself today. I'm 34 years old and I live in Hollywood, California. I've lived in Hollywood for the past 5 years. I moved to Hollywood after I came back to California from being in the military. I grew up in Fountain Valley, California, which is in Orange County, borders Huntington Beach, so about a couple miles there from the beach. I grew up with my mom and dad and my two sisters. I recently just enrolled in Azusa Pacific. Prior to that, I was going to Fullerton College and Glendale College and just fulfilling my general education courses prior to transferring into Azusa. My major right now is liberal studies. I chose this major because my career goal is to become a teacher, and I felt that liberal studies was going to be the best path in order for me to advance into my teaching credential. Like I was saying, I was currently previously in the military. I was actually in the Army. I served for 4 years and I was a civil affairs specialist. What a civil affairs specialist is, it's someone that deploys to other countries in order to assist. We have a couple of different components. So we either, in non-wartime, what we will do is we will go ahead and assist in building government. We will train governments, we'll train local governments, um, and we also respond to different countries when there is a major disaster. And when that occurs, what my job would be to help the government rebuild itself and help the people become self-sufficient. So if there was a major earthquake, we would go and we would rebuild the schools, rebuild power plants, rebuild water plants, rebuild essentially the community. I actually physically wouldn't rebuild them. I would just facilitate it. I would control the budget and I would control the construction aspect of it, but we would employ the locals in order to so they can build it. And then when there is a wartime, my job would be to deploy to various countries such as recently as Iraq and Afghanistan, and my job would be to negotiate with locals in order to get information um, on whatever the U.S. government needs. So, for example, I would go to different villages and I would talk to locals and I would maybe offer them, uh, you know, 13 cows and to give me information on the terrorist. Um, and that's what I did when I was in the Army. I currently work for Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority, and I am a bus driver. I've been doing that for the last 2 years, and prior to that, I worked for the University of Southern California, and I worked in their public safety department as a community service officer. What a community service officer is, it's someone who, or my job was to really interact with the students versus the police officer really interacting with the outside student population. So I would respond to non-emergency calls such as maybe a medical emergency, a fire activation, where there's a fire on campus, anything that really didn't involve criminal activity. So that's what I did for USC. I also currently volunteer. Have two different things I volunteer for. The first one is I volunteer at Laurel Street Elementary in Compton. And what I do is I interact with the students, I help the teacher, and I really get to know the students. That's actually where I decided I wanted to become a teacher, really from seeing the students, interacting with the students, and kind of seeing what the teacher does really got me into wanting to do that. So that's kind of where I got my career path from. I also volunteer for the City of Los Angeles on the city's crisis response team. And what the city's crisis response team does is we respond to scenes, whether it's a car accident or a fire, and we assist the fire department and the police department with the victims and witnesses. I provide resources, and I'm really there for the victims and the fire and the witnesses of various crimes. In my spare time, I enjoy hanging out with my friends, traveling, volunteering. I actually recently joined a kickball league in Long Beach, and so that's what me and my friends have been into now. Um, kickball from when you were a kid. So that's another thing I enjoy doing. So yeah, that is pretty much me. So, like I said, that was a little bit about myself, and thank you very much.